They laughed at her. They said she threw her life away, all because she chose love over luxury. When Ella said yes to a poor mechanic named Jake, her friends called her insane. But no one, and I mean no one, expected the incredible twist that would come years later. Before we dive into this amazing story, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, because this one will remind you why you should never, ever underestimate the underdog. Jake worked in a dusty little garage just outside of town. He always had oil on his hands, but he had even bigger dreams in his heart. He spent his days fixing broken engines, but deep down, he wanted to fix something much bigger, the broken way people looked down on the poor. Ella, on the other hand, came from money. She grew up with silk dresses, private schools, and fancy business dinners. So when she told her parents she was in love with a mechanic, her father's words cut like glass. "You're marrying beneath you," he said, but Ella didn't care about status. She followed her heart. Their wedding was small. There was no grand ballroom, no expensive orchestra, just two hearts beating as one and a borrowed suit. It makes you think, would you choose love over luxury? Let me know your answer down in the comments. The first few years were tough, really tough. Jake lost his job when the company he worked for cut its staff. It turned out Ella's father had pulled some strings behind the scenes, making sure his mistake of a son-in-law wouldn't last long there. The whispers and mockery were relentless. That's what happens when you marry a dreamer. People sneered. But Jake refused to quit. He poured everything he had into opening a tiny garage of his own. He worked day and night, sometimes even sleeping beside engines, using a heavy wrench as a pillow. Through it all, Ella stood by him. She'd bring him food, wipe the sweat from his face, and whisper, "One day, they'll see." Then the storm hit. A major client refused to pay a huge bill, and just like that, Jake went bankrupt. They lost their home. Suddenly, Ella's so-called friends stopped answering her calls. One night, as they faced what felt like rock bottom, she looked at him and said, "Even if we lose everything, we still have each other." Jake broke down, but in that moment of despair, something inside him snapped awake. He made a decision right then and there. If the world was going to laugh at him, he would give them a reason to remember his name. If you've ever felt underestimated, do me a favor and like this video right now. Years passed, filled with endless nights of failure and rebuilding. But Jake's persistence paid off. He created his own brand of car parts. His designs were smarter, cheaper, and more durable than anything on the market. Soon, every major auto company wanted a deal with him. He became a millionaire before he even turned 35. Then came the headline that broke the internet. Local mechanic buys the company that once fired him. The same managers who had mocked him now worked under him. And Ella. She walked into that very same company building, her head held high, holding Jake's hand. When her father saw the news on television, all he could do was whisper to himself, "Maybe I was wrong." They laughed when she married the mechanic. Now, they clap when he drives by in a car from his very own brand. Because real love doesn't need anyone's approval, it just needs belief. If this story touched you, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share it with someone who's ever been doubted. Thanks for watching.